Today on the bench we have a Technics SL-3200, an SL-3200. It's quite a heavy unit. I'll put in a scale to find out exactly what's the weight for it. And if you look at it, it's a pretty good shape. It's not, there's not many scarf and scratches. If you look at here, there's a little bit of, I don't know what happened here, but it's quite dented. I don't know if I can get that out without taking the paint off. The mat is not too dry, it's still quite flexible. Yeah. At this point in time, it has a Shure. I don't know. It looks like it doesn't look like an M44 Shure needle. I wouldn't know exactly what the number is. Let's now take the cover off. You can see the oil from the rubber started to dry out and hit the plate. It doesn't matter, it's detail. Let's try to take the cover out. I need two hands. So here it is, it's separated. It's a universal motor, which means it's brushless, but it is using permanent magnets. This is not a core ferrite that's just get magnetized as the coil of firing up, but it really is a permanent magnet. If I put a screwdriver on it, it's gonna go. It's a funny black spray. Never seen black spray before, but this was not sprayed on the coil, so it must have been done at the factory. Maybe from coming on overspray from painting the inside of this black before it gets polished and taken away. So that's probably what it is. They're probably spraying the table, and then they just overspray. When people say, "Oh my God, you know your bench is quite a bit of a mess," and Einstein used to say, "Would you prefer a clean, empty desk that represent a clean, empty mind, or a messy desk that represent a guy that has full of ideas?" Well, making sure that the arm is attached with the clip. It's not like super unstable, but it's sitting on the little Amazon Basic, they call it kitchen weight, kitchen scale. It comes in at 9 pounds 14 ounces. That will be 4.5 kilogram. So it's a heavy fellow, and that is without the table. Now with the table, we're about, I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, 13 point. So 1 kilogram more. So that will bring the table to 1.3 kilogram plus the 4.5 that we had. So we're at 5.8 kilograms total. And in grams, that will be 2 pounds, 14 ounces. Let's fire it up, see if it works before. I'm doing this for someone I know. I don't want to be opening up, feeling guilty that that I broke it when it was already broken. Okay, so let's undo the protection. Let's bring the Q up. It's not electronic, it's mechanical, but you can hear the relay clicking. Okay, the plate is not turning, maybe because it's in neutral. Yeah, that's it. So 33. Oh, system for return was already engaged. It's a bit of a hard time. You can see the plate slowing down, which could be normal, who knows, but okay. So let's do it again. It's also very, very close. So imagine after you put a record on the top of this, you're not very far from scratching it. Yeah, maybe I will have to adjust this. There's a screw in there. Maybe I can adjust it. We'll see. So let's go all the way to the end. And let's look at the plate slowing down. That's better. I think it needs to maybe some lubrication a bit. That's it. Very gentle. Now, last thing I want to try. I'll put it here. Wow, that damper is damping. Let's try the stop button. Oh, I would imagine that this would have come back. Oh, it did. I just missed it, that's all. Bring it down. Let's fire it up. Wow, it was keep on going lower. See, it's also at a bit of an angle. Okay. It's an S-shaped arm, so it could be going like this until you hit a certain height, right? It because it's an S arm. When you're moving it like this because it's S. Well, I don't know what's the I only know what the urban legend is regarding the S-shaped arm. New York had turntables after that you had the choice between a straight arm or a S arm shaped. The rumor says it's to avoid vibration. So if you have a straight arm, you can actually get some vibration. If you break it in an S, then you don't get this much vibration that can come from the needle transmitted to the arm, resulting into some kind of a sound that you don't want to pick up. So I always worked with an S arm shape, and really it's for my old ears it was just fine. So now let's look at the strobe. Oh, the strobe is dead. So I'm losing LED lights in my office, in my shop, so I can probably catch the 120 hertz. People will say, no, it's 60 hertz. Yeah, it is 60 hertz, but the one 120 on and off cycles, pulses, I should say. All right. So which one is 60 hertz? So the last bottom two are 60, the last top two are 40 or 50. So this strobe is directly connected to the main power line. So if you're in a country where it's 50 hertz, then obviously when you look at the strobing effect, you look at the top two, and when these LEDs are connected, since they're connected directly to the main line, the power source at 60 hertz for North America, then you look at the bottom two. So for 33, which will be actually 33 and a third, and then will be this one. So it's pretty stable. Oh, I can see scratches as well going through. And then 45, let's see how the 45 knob works. And they're not a bit stiff, but you don't want it too loose. It's pretty stable. I also have something that can tell me if the speed is stable or not, but I don't need to. I just have to look at this one, and this is as stable as it can be. All right, so these buttons are not too noisy. This is working. I'm gonna again go into the neutral zone. So that's probably why I was confused about turning it on and not seeing this light turning on. I mean, because it's actually out. This is where the 45 spindle, I don't know, adapter clips in. And I couldn't remember was this if it's to adjust for the return. Must be a screw of some sort. Yeah, that's the return. So this is the adjustment to, I'll find out to make, and then open it to make sure, but I'm predicting that this is connected to the switch that tells where the harm is to know when to start returning, and not get it to right and try to go over here. Make it a stop here, not over there. That would be my bet. We'll find out in a minute. I really like the serviceability. The motor is right there. If you want to exchange it, it's just pushed and plugged in. Take the screws out, pop it out, and that's it. You can have a new motor. I wouldn't see why this will ever break, but oh, this is also quite stiff. A bit of lubrication. I like also the fact that within these holes there's the speed adjustment. I'm not too sure what that hole is. Maybe it was also for another turntable if there was a stop braking mechanism or something. You can see this part here. As a part, see when you move the arm, as it reaches you'll see it moving. See? And then when it gets to a certain point, it's either turning on a switch, we'll find out, or it's actually grasping a gear of some sort from the middle. I'll be very surprised of that, especially with the pop in, pop out motor. I can tell you that's probably engaging a switch. We'll see in a minute. So it's the upside down. There's screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, a few screws around. A bit of a grill here to allow some airflow, I believe. That's the date code. I wouldn't know how to read it. If I had to take a bet, probably 1988. Not 70. It's probably 1988. But they've manufactured these models for a long time. Oh, there's someone who tried to fix something somewhere from the... So I can only imagine there's probably the... when you put the cover in, there's a straight pin that goes in. And I can only believe that someone broke it and tried to glue it down. Too lazy to take the cover off. And it's assumption, I don't know. This record player must have a lot of hours of playing music, because LEDs last for, I don't know, 20,000 hours, and they're both of them are dead. The LED from the strobe. There's two usually, but anyway. So obviously, before putting in the turntable, I put these little plastic boxes to level the record player so the weight is not put on the arm. I removed the screws. It was not necessary to take these screws out, just the red ones. Here they are. I know it's very mesmerizing to see someone taking screws out, but righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, I guess. Quite heavy fiber plastic. Very heavy. Let's put it in the ground, just beside my other Akai reel-to-wheel player that I'm working on. Look at this, like when I was talking about having a lot of hours. You can see that they print on the top of the sticker the part number of the transformer, and the sticker has changed color. It hasn't turned yellow, as it has to actually cooked. And you see this 88 number again on the transformer, which makes me think that this is a written in 1988. Yeah, with microcontrollers. Yeah, it's a 1988 record player. Grease has gone a little bit hard. They always do. Let's see. Oh yeah, very, very sticky. Yeah, it's actually not. Well, it's a Technique, just Panasonic, right? It was a great Japanese product back then. Here's the anti-skating. When you turn on the other side, when you turn the anti-skating knob, you're moving this spring and giving it attention. So it doesn't matter if it's a BSR turntable that was built for the masses. It's always that flimsy spring, and the idea is the spring is only starting to get an effect when you hit the middle of the record towards the middle of the record towards the center, and now the springs start pulling the needle back. Filter. Yeah, capacitor, filter, capacitor for the AC line. That's pretty. I love these machines. So it is directly. I was looking at it, but it is directly. Try to get the light. So this is the rest, and as the arms start pushing the pin, so it is a pin that gets engaged and start. Yeah, I was wondering if it was a electric contact, but electric contact will have required a motor. So my theory was weird and wrong at the same time. And these are the LEDs, which we know they're dead. It's not an LED, it's a strobe. Oh no. It's actually a little neon lamp. So that would explain why it could have died. Oh wow, it's a neon lamp. So the gas inside is probably gone. You can actually see where it started arcing or changing the color here at the base. So it's finished. I'm gonna have to find one of these. I might have some here, but if I have some, they're old. Might as well be trying to find one that's That's new. Huh, interesting. I would have bet. You know what? I'm wondering if I can actually change this to an LED. Maybe I talk to my buddy who owns this turntable and ask him if he would like the very, like a bluish color. That will just be very, very nice on his record player instead of this orange. Yeah, because it'll do the same thing. Actually, it'll do better. So, okay. All right. The owner wanted some capacitor change. We'll find out if they need to be changed to begin with. But took the screws out of the electronic board. So on the other side of this is where the motor was connected that we saw previously. So it should be as easy as just unplugging it by wobbling it out. There we go. There they are. Speed adjustment 4533. Those I like, and you don't have to change it ever. These purple capacitors are usually not that great. We'll see. And again, it really depends on the brand. And so that's why when I say the color, it could be because I recognize them as being a certain brand. They haven't leaked at all. They're good. There's no point of changing them. Is he bulging? Yeah, it's bulging. So you see, as it's protruded outside, it's trying to pop out. So this was probably flat originally when it came to life. So he might. This next step will be another couple of years, and he's going to start warming up as he's working, and he's going to gush out his acid onto the pins and then until it pops. And when it pops, it stings. Oh, here's the 88 year again. Okay, so this is not comparing apple with apples, because you'll have capacitors that will. Let's shine a light on this. So when I say bulging, this, you can see it's curving out. If you compare it to this capacitor, it's flush. So you might have a rubber that shows out, but the plastic around it, when it shrinks, it makes it like square. Like this portion here versus this one is actually bulging. You can see it pretty good. So yeah, it's time for change. So I found two capacitors that were damaged. And it's funny, it's always the same thing. This one, as I planned, is shooting at 600 microfarad, and this one here is shooting as a 500 microfarad. So, and you say, oh, that's fine, it's a 470, and now it's 600. This one is a 300 shooting at 450. It should be all right, but overachieving doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that they're better capacitor than what the manufacturer intended to be. Is they're drying out, and all of a sudden electrons rush faster on one plate, I guess, or something like this, which will turn into heat, which will turn into gushing out their guts, which turned into exploded capacitor, which turned into a damaged record player in this case. Now people will say, oh, don't take any chances, change all capacitor. First question, why? Second question is, yeah, so, I don't know, $3, 50 cents, 50 cents, or 20 cents, whatever they are. And the time, when you're looking at their repair, you don't want to go back to your customer and say, hey, it was a $300 repair. Oh, I pay $50 for that record player. Yeah, but now you have a $350 record player. Oh, but I could have bought a brand new one for $250 which doesn't have a broken cover on it. So we have to be realistic on how we fix things. These are good for another 10 years and even more. This one, that one needs to be changed. And that's it. And it's not, there's not even corrosions or anywhere in this record player. Either the fact that it seems to be, now that I'm looking at this overachiever capacitor, which is connected directly onto the power supply circuit, that could have started shorting, which increased the amount of power that is required from the transformer, which makes him change color like this. And I just noticed that it's actually also starting melting. Yeah, so this could be all related. The tiny capacitors, they'll just pop and that's it. And but this big one is directly in the circuit as the power supply. So do you want to change this? I'll run the record player after changing the capacitor. I'll run the record player for a little while, see if this transformer is overheating now. Depends on the varnish on the wire. If the varnish has started to be damaged, then this will generate more voltage than required, and it will also heating more and more. So I have to check this and change that. All right, now so the capacitors are changed. This guy is brand new. This guy is also brand new. So obviously these old designs of radial capacitors are like, I'm not gonna find them on for $10 each or something like this. So I just build up my own. Yep, very solid, very good. I'm gonna drop a little blub of glue just to make sure it doesn't vibrate. It's not like it vibrates, but oh, you know, the people who buy these turntables, there could be a bit fanatic on sound. Even if it was unnecessary, I use this very expensive deoxic product. We're talking $30, 30 Canadian dollars a can. I can hear the Americans saying, "Wow, it's only $10 in the U.S." Welcome to Canadian inflation. So I'm gonna shoot a little bit of deoxit. I've done these two trim pots, and I'm gonna do it on the connector as well. All right, now it's day 2 of this record player. I'm trying to remember, is it 3200 series? Wait a minute, maybe it's written on there. Yeah, the Technics SL-3200. And last time I thought it was LED, and this is a little neon lamp that goes on and off at 60 cycle. And I thought it was burned dead. You know, I saw some bit of a black on the light here, so I was assuming that the gas was all gone, or the electrodes are all consumed, but it's not. It's in good shape, and there's a 10K 1 watt, and which here she is, ceramic 1 watt. She's burnt. She's dead. She's fully open. That's why it was not turning on. So I created this amalgamation of 10Ks because they're only a 1/4 watt. So I wanted to be able to reach close to 1 watt, and it works. Becomes quite warm, which I'm not a big fan of. So what happened is I ordered on DG some 5 watts 10 kilo ohms resistor, and this is exactly what I'm going to put in instead of the 1 watt. And instead of having the resistor push inside that's going to warm up this little cavity. I'm going to put it on the outside so she can cool down with the air surrounding. All right. So I'm going to change that and see if it turns on. All right, so here's what I've done. Change the resistor. There's no point of putting it right against the PC board, so she can cool down with all the surrounding hair as it can. So instead of being right beside the light bulb, focus your camera and put it on the other side. And I'm gonna be putting it back right here. But that being said, I'm gonna power up. The turntable. There's 120 volt on this, so it's not a place to actually put your finger on it. I'm gonna move the arm until the switch is engaged. There we go. And she's on. Yeah. Off. On. Yeah. So I'm gonna let it turn on for a few minutes. See what's the situation with the 5-watt resistor 10K. No matter what, it's gonna be better than a 1K. Sorry, than a 10K 1 watt. So for sure, this can hold. Yeah, if this will be my turntable, I'll be putting LED. But hey, the glow is quite good. So if I shake it, I should see it strobing. Yeah, it's the refresh of the camera, and as well as this cycling on and off. 120 volt, eh? So right close to my finger. With me not being grounded, it's not that bad, but oh yeah, she's probably 50 degrees. Skin, or the sensor underneath our skin is good for 50 degrees. So if you cannot hold something down, it's above 50. So this is getting to the point where I cannot hold it for too long. So that will explain why this guy, well, I shouldn't say that will explain, it probably lasted so long. Yep, it's working. The light is not hot. It's a bit funny because why would you, back in the day, oh, I see. So in the 80s, the LED will have not been able to project light. You will have see a red LED turning red, but not really push red like a flashlight type of thing. So that's probably why they kept on using this. Yeah, it's warm. Okay. All right. So I'll let it run, and if the resistor is fine, not changing color, then I will call this job done. Okay, the board has been with the strobe has been reinstalled. Let it run for about 2 hours. It's very acceptable. It's going to be just fine now until the strobe lose all the little neon lamp loses all his gas, which could be another 10 years, who knows. Capacitors are changed. The 2 potentiometers for speed has been sprayed with deoxit. Ta-da! And now the only price, I've added some more of the white compound. I hate white compound. You touch it, it goes into your finger. It's hard to take out. It goes on your, if it touches your clothes, you're done. Now the only thing I want to hit is the grease. So you see, that's the original grease that has turned in a little bit into a glue. I have special Vaseline for this. It's not actually Vaseline, it's control grease. What I usually like to do is just to add a drop or two of oil. It's hard to do with the camera. Yeah. Dab, 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 dab. And what I do is I usually renew the grease, the original grease. It's not a matter of being lazy and not wanted to take all the grease out and put new grease in. You know, when you think about what does that mean, it means taking all the mechanism apart, everything. And this is really the proper grease that the manufacturer has put in, which was good for, 20, 30 years. That's in 1988, so well past over 20. So this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to renew the grease and just put oil where it's intended to be. And I usually take a little stick and I mix it all up to bring it brand new. All right, scratch that. That grease is well past over his period of being able to just recycling it. See, this is just the grease that was around this shaft. Yeah, so I've been taking quite a bit of grease out all over, and I'm gonna be adding this synthetic super lube, this multi-purpose synthetic grease, and that's what I'm gonna be adding in some locations. Now, last adjustment point, I'm gonna be taking this back out. This is where the plateau pin is holding. We can only imagine that this will have either a ball bearing inside or a little Lexan plastic. We'll see. I'm going to open it up now. All right, here's the great reveal. Yeah, it's a ball bearing that sits on this little plastic piece, hard plastic. So I'm going to drop a couple synthetic motor oil right here. Why am I that bad? It's because I'm trying to do it with the camera. I want to give my buddy his best experience like he did it. All right, so final. And let it run for quite some time to make sure all the oil has reached the proper point. I adjusted the height. I have these old RCA records that are very, very thick. And I just want to make sure that the needle, my adjustment will pass. So if you put it up, you'll see you'll clear the holder, the stand. See, it clears it without touching it. And now if you look at the needle, you're passing it pretty good. It's quite a bit of a distance between the head. I can only imagine you'll change the head for something else. This is those are very good, but they're quite harsh sound. Mostly DJ. Back in the day, they mostly are DJ. Not the radio station DJ type of needle, but more or the club. So very high output, but maybe not that much of a great warm sound. And now we're gonna drop it. Just move the Q, and it drops slowly, and it swings right in the middle. Fantastic. Oh, my best record, my God. Then it's gonna go and clear it. And that's it. Here she goes, here she stops. Let's try now the, I don't need this. Let's try now the stop button. I give a shot to the stop button. Oh, and it picks up. Let's see if it resets. Oh, it did already, did it? Yeah. Is it spring return? No. So logically it should move. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. All right. All's very nice. All ends wells. Last thing we might want to check. I'll drop the needle in the middle here, which I already checked, but speed. The bottom is 33 and a third. This is not noisy at all. It's super stable. The cleaning agent has done a good job. Perfect. Now if I move the button to neutral, 45. Same thing. I'll indeed played with this. Perfect. Beautiful. And I'll hit the stop because it's a fun button. Ooh. Automation. I'm going to teach you quickly how to adjust the arm on an SL-3200. The needle is finished, kaput, finito on this Shure head. So what you need to do first is you need to, I'll put it on neutral. There's no point of getting this running for no reason. You have to find where the neutral point is. So what you do is you move this weight until you get 0. Let's see if I'm at 0. So now I'm too high. Bring it to 0. Too low. You want it to have 0 gravity. You want it to get into a tri-state where it's floating in the air, exactly like this. Yeah. So that's pretty neutral. So when this is neutral, you don't move the weight anymore. I might need 2 arms, but what you do is you only move the sleeve to 0. And so using my 2 hands, what I did is I hold the back part and I turn the front ring and I put it to 0. See, now I'm at 0 and the arm is in 0 gravity, and I moved it to 0. So now that you're at 0, usually what happened is the manufacturer will tell you the tolerance for their needle. If the tolerance for a needle is 1 gram and you override it at 2, it's not good. If you underride it at 0.5, it doesn't track properly. It doesn't have the good quality sound. These records, when they were designed to run day in, day out at 6 grams. They can go all the way to 8 grams, no issue, for thousands of plays. But originally they were designed for withstanding what they consider up to 6 grams. So having 3.5 grams, 5 grams Well, even 6 grams on a needle is fine. What happened is you have to make sure that you follow the manufacturer. So I know that on these they, well, at least on the SC-35C, they were saying 3.5 gram to 5 gram, and I like to keep my records lasting a long time, so usually I put it as low as I can. So let's assume that this will be the same. So let's say that's 3.5 gram. Now that I'm set at 0, you move this entire thing until it gets to 3.5. So that's 1 gram, that's 2 grams, and that's 3.5 grams. So logically, I should have now 3.5 gram to the needle. Let's see if it's true. All right, so now I have my little scale there. And see what they do is, because the weight of the needle will change from here to here, especially for the type that uses a spring. Not as much as for the counterweight, but for spring. So there's a difference in weight between here and here. So what happened is this type of scale is meant to be put under, like, at this, almost at the same height as the record. So let's put that in, and let's put the middle of the needle, which we don't have a needle on this anymore. So what does this say? It says 2.3, and I'm at 2.5. Yeah, that's pretty good, you know, when you think about it. Let's say 2.4, and that's at 2.5. So, and I say I like mine at 3.5 because that's what the manufacturer recommend. So 3.5. Now let's see what the scale says. 3.4. Isn't it fantastic? So really, no need for a scale. After you find out the 0 gravity point, you can just turn that knob and then you'll be fine. Now that we run at 3.5, rule of thumb, and we should have an anti-skating that will be exactly at 3, which is pretty much the highest. So, and the reason for this is that the more grams you have on the needle, the more pressure you get, the more tendency, especially at the end, and it has to move towards the center. If it moves towards the center, what happened is you don't get the perfect stereo sound. So let's take it off of the neutral. Let's put it at 45. And what's going to happen, I'm going to drop the needle and see where it goes. Oh, the mechanism, the stop has engaged because I was farting around the... all right. Finished? Are you happy? Yes. Okay. See, now it stays exactly to the middle. You actually can hear a bit of music. If I will be putting the anti-skating to 0, it will slam right to the middle. That's not what you want. All right. All adjusted. All fantastic. Everything works. Ready to consume.